How's it going guys, Michael here. In this video we'll be recreating the lead synth sound from kids in the series Stranger Things. The original composers Carl Dixon and Michael Stain own a massive collection of vintage synths. So to help us capture that vintage sound, we'll be using a Juno inspired wavetable from Serum. Let's get into it. Start by selecting Analog and then Juno. Then select the second wavetable position so that we have a nice sawtooth wave. Then to give the sound some width, change the unison to 2 and bring the detune down slightly. Now turn on oscillator B and add the same waveform by selecting Analog and then Juno. Then select the second wavetable position. Now let's drop this oscillator 1 octave lower to give our sound some oomph. Next, turn on the filter section and be sure to include oscillator B. Turn up the resonance and now let's dial in our envelopes. On envelope 1, turn up the release so that our notes will fade out slowly. Then hop over to envelope 2 and turn up the decay to around 3 or 4 seconds. Drag down the sustain to 0 and set the release to around the same as your decay. Now drag envelope 2 onto the cutoff knob so that we can modulate it. Now mess with the controls until you get it sounding right. This is complete trial and error, and the only way to get better is to practice. Next, move over to the Effects tab and turn on the Hyper and Dimension. Turn down the Mix knob on the Hyper and turn up the Mix knob on the Dimension. Now pull down the Size knob to around 5%. Next, turn on Distortion and set the EQ to Pre and make the shape similar to this. Now turn up the Drive knob and set your mix to around 20%. Now turn on Chorus and set the rate to 9 o'clock. Turn Delay 1, 2 and Feed to 0. Now turn the Low Pass filter to maximum. Now turn on Reverb and set the Mix knob to 100% until we've dialed in a tone that we like. Let's start by reducing the size and decay. A little bit of low cut and spin depth to 0. Now dial back the mix knob on the reverb until it sounds right. Now turn on the EQ and let's boost the mid frequencies with a very wide bell shape. Change from low shelf to the bell shape. And let's boost with the gain knob so that we can hear which frequencies we're affecting. Now pull the Q down to 0 and let's find the right frequencies. Now that we've got that, reduce the gain to the right level. Lastly, let's add some compression. Start by dragging the compressor below the EQ. Turn on multiband and drag down the high frequencies to around 40%. Let's set the threshold, lower the ratio, increase the attack time to let more transients through, and make a quicker release setting to have the sound up front. Now adjust the gain to compensate for the changes in level. Now to give the sounds an extra sprinkle of character, head back to the oscillator tab and drag LFO1 onto the fine pitch knob of oscillator A. Dial it back. Then turn off BPM and make the rate slower. Now drag LFO2 onto oscillator B's fine tune control and dial it back once again. Again, turn off the BPM setting and this time give it a different rate. You want the two to be out of sync with each other to give it a more analog feel. Feel free to experiment by using LFO3 on any parameter you like. Some starting points could be messing with the detune knob on oscillator A, the drive knob in the effect section, or the chorus rate knob. Now let's take a listen to our finished sound. As always, you can find a link to the preset in the description below, and if you enjoyed watching, please consider liking and subscribing to help out the channel. Thanks again for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye!